Hey you, it's Raging Jeep here. Just finished up another afternoon's worth of work and thought I'd give you guys an update. So today I was able to get the drive shaft, upper and lower control arms, as well as the coils all mounted up. So everything still has to be torqued down to spec and fine-tuned, but it's all bolted up and it all fits like it should. So fun story about that. A little bit of a Tetris game. Never done this before, as I've mentioned in other videos. So I obviously did what everybody does. I asked a bunch of questions, I read a bunch of blogs, and I watched a bunch of videos. And there really weren't too many videos that really kind of went through this, that I thought were helpful anyway. So one of these days when I get production capabilities, maybe I'll shoot some how-to videos, but this is more of a what have I done and tips and tricks if you're doing it yourself kind of thing. So here's the tip. When you're installing, if you pull your axle out, you've got your lower control arm, your upper control arm, and your coil. All these things, so 2 coils, 4 control arms, all 6 of these things work in concert to hold your axle more or less where it needs to be, combined with the drive shaft, of course. But it's an interesting game of Jenga to get them in there. So the first thing I tried was I bought a nice heavy-duty coil compression tool from Amazon. It's about 60 bucks. Comes with 2 grooved compression fingers, and I put that on one of the coils. I put the upper control arms on. The first thing I did was measure them to make sure that they were approximately the same length as the ones I took off, so that I had a chance of this being relatively well set up when I'm done. And then I compressed the coil. The problem is there's only about 14 inches here between the seat and the bump stop, and I just could not compress this bad boy enough to get it, you know, kind of angled in over this, up, and then back down onto the seat. So round 2, I took the upper control arms off, let it fall all the way back down, put the coils in uncompressed, jacked it back up, and then I tried to put the upper control arms back on. The problem with that is, of course, now with the coils, I can't rotate the axle enough to get the brackets onto the bushings. So this next thing I did was I took my coil compression tool, and the springs, when you don't have anything keeping the axle from rotating, bow out towards the front of the vehicle naturally. So I put this on the front side, compressed the front side, jacked it up even more. That got me close, but not enough. So then I took advantage of the fact that these are adjustable upper control arms, and I backed them out to make them longer, put the hardware on, and then I tightened them back up to put them back at the length that they were when I started. So while functional for me, I'm sure there's a better way to do this, because if those were fixed length control arms, that would have never worked. So I took advantage of the fact that I have an adjustable control arm and capitalized on that. So long story short, that's all in. Everything needs to be torqued up to spec. But tonight I'm going to take the airline, I'm going to reroute it to the outside of the frame here. So I'm going to route it right in front of this bracket that I made when I put the 2-inch body lift. See there? I had to lift the steering column bracket up a little bit. So while it looks janky, it is sturdy as hell. So I'm going to run it on this side of that and then down to the fitting, because right now on the other side here, it's not in the groove, but I can imagine it being slopped into the space where the ball joint is at the top of the upper control arm. And under moderate to severe wheeling conditions, I can imagine it getting pressed in there, severed or punctured, and then no lockers. And that kind of defeats the purpose of this 2-month-long, many thousands of dollars of odyssey. So yeah, we're gonna reroute that. And then that'll be it for tonight. Next up, I've got my Steinjager crossover steering kit. The Steinjager kit replaces the 3/4 inch steel stock Y configuration steering, drag link and pitman arm. So the way the stock one works, there's a drag link that goes from that knuckle up to about there. There's another drag link that goes from that knuckle over there up to that drag link and connects in the middle with a ball joint. So there's a ball joint over there, there's a ball joint over there, there's a ball joint there. There's another ball joint over there that the pitman arm connects to, and then that connects up to the, those are tie rods. The drag link connects from the pitman arm up there down to here with a fourth and fifth and sixth ball joint. So total 6 ball joints, 3 pieces of steel. It's sloppy, it's thin, and it's always annoyed the hell out of me. So the Steinjager crossover kit is a 1 1/4 inch chromoly steel tube, one tie rod that runs from this knuckle to that knuckle. So that's going to be super sturdy. This knuckle will have a double-headed ball joint on it, so the tie rod goes on the bottom, the drag link goes on the top, and it goes from there all the way over to the pitman arm. Bada bing, bada boom. With 4 inches of lift, I don't need a drop pitman arm, so I should be completely fine there. And then that's going to give me some substantial steering tightness and improvement. And then the last thing, once I put the calipers and the rotor and the wheels back on, we'll let it down, and I will connect up the anti-rock sway bar here. What's great is these are the adjustment points. More control, less articulation. More control on road, less articulation off road. Less control on road, greatest articulation off road. The middle seems to be where everybody puts it. I'm probably going to go in the middle for driving around here, but I'm probably going to back it off to there for Arizona. But this keeps me from having to disconnect my quick disconnects. So this is going to be sweet. It's just sort of, as you can see, sort of hanging out here. So that's going to go on, and then it's all about fine tuning from there. So we're ready to rock and roll. Electrical's done, everything else is done. Oh, I gotta put the bumper on. So almost forgot to give a shout out to my official sponsor, Bud Light. Dilly Dilly, thank you, Bud Light, for being my unofficial sponsor. If anybody from Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light product line, Bud Light product manager, brand manager, etc., sees this, throw a buddy a beer one time. So this is Raging Jeep signing off. Be safe. Hope to see you on the trail soon.